James Plays Game.
That's me!
Hey everybody, welcome back to James Plays Tony Hawk's Underground 2. This is it, the final segment of story mode. We just have the other half of the goals to do and we're done. So let's just go ahead. Switch on over to Tony Hawk.
Alright, let me show you something.
He's the guy that's got his name on the box. How about that? Of course, with the end of story mode does not mean the end of this playthrough. We will have a good chunk of other things to cover. We have classic mode that we're going to be doing, and then a little bit of level exploration for the maps that we did not get to see here in story mode. So that'll be fun. That should not be as big and extensive a thing as story mode has been for me, though, so... Okay, there's his list of goals. We're going to start off heading this way to get a gap. We got to do a little bomb drop over this mobile home. There we go. Mobile home drop. And that built up my special for the future, possibly for this. There's our first hive that we're going to scrape off the side. You have to do a wall ride through it in order to make that happen. So there we go. Come back over this way, and we've got a couple of trees hanging out over here next to the garage as well. Just gonna go get to the top of this one, do a not a spin, and then try... Yep, it worked. Alright. You kind of have to be quick with the acid drop on that one. Like, do it like a split second after jumping off the tree in order to connect with a proper acid drop. That's the guy that would have told us about doing the spin and drop with a wonderful haircut. Gonna grind the edge of this garage and then side jump and land in a grind on the mobile home for the Hell Skull gap. And just take that grind over here to this zip line. Now this does sort of count as a gap, but it is not part of the gap list. But we can just jump and grab on, and up we go for zip line. Like I said, not on the list. Now we're up here and we've got a log, and we have to grind and jump along 3 logs here. They've got a... That's the game's cat again. These have a very special property to them, where you do get more lift and distance jumping off of those logs for some reason. Don't really know why, but there you go. You just have to grind all 3 of them in a single combo. We're getting stuff done. Getting lots of goals out of the way here. There aren't too many gaps to worry about. As you saw, I nailed quite a few of them at the start of the previous video. So now what we're going to do is we have this little area here, this little inset at the top of the mountain. And we want to aim ourselves at the Skatopia graffiti, kind of pointing towards the S, like kind of pointing towards the, I don't even know what you would call that, a support of some sort for like a dome. We're kind of aiming to skate up through that and do a spine transfer to the other side. And then we're going to get thrown off that kicker there. To get the distance to the weather balloon, you get off your board and you grab on. In theory, I don't really think that... Doesn't really look like he's grabbing much, does he? And he's got like a 1,000-yard stare. That's like the kind of face you'd see in like a Renaissance painting. The Tony Lisa. Is he smiling? What's he smiling about? Probably skateboard stuff. Look at that. I did not even know that was possible. Okay, moving on. We are going for another hive. This time it's over. That's Game Cat right there. It's a little bit difficult to get this. I'm gonna give it one good shot, and then we might have to... Game cat. Might have to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, there we go. That worked, and bailing is actually exactly what I wanted, because the way that mountain curves, it'll throw you out of the level if you go past the rim here. Case in point, I did not want that to happen, but... Oh, silly me. Not that it much matters, if I'm being perfectly honest. But, yeah. Gonna head back over here, and we're gonna build up our special on the way, hopefully. Because we are gonna get a gap. Game cap, obviously there. Alright. We're gonna start a manual and head down this slope. We've got a lot of speed from that, so we can just go into focus mode to get a little more control. And just spam some flatland tricks to keep that special meter going. We come around here, and boom. So, manual, 1, big slope, 2, cement mixer, 3, front gate. And it's just manualing that line all the way down and around. We'll come on over here, up this way, following that car for a little bit. And this here is a water pipe. It's the beginning, or possibly the end, depending how you look at it, of the water pipe. And we're going to grind on the water pipe, and we're going to go around and get the water pipe grind. Come on up this way. We're going to go into the bowling alley area here, and we've got this rail. We're going to grind around, jump, hit a wall ride for that other hive right there at the end of the bowling alley. And now we have a little bit of business here. We're going to get another hive. You probably can't see it in the dark so well, but it's there. And then we also want to get a gap. Now, the problem with this is the way it's located on the geometry. Can't really tell, but the hive is situated kind of right on an angle change, which can be a little bit annoying. And the gap that we have to do is also, it has a very small window of opportunity to pull off because of the angle changes. So we're going to go into focus mode. Wall ride. And we got our hive. Perfect. Let that finish out. Turn back around. And now we're going to try for the gap. The gap can also just sometimes not work properly because we have to do a jump, a wally off of the rock face there over this sidewall bomb or side bomb. Can't remember which one it was called. And acid drop onto the ramp here. I think this one is sidewall bomb and the other one was side bomb. So we'll try. Jump. Late acid drop. Okay, perfect. Sometimes it'll look like it's good, but if you acid drop too early, you'll like just crash onto the edge here and bail. Which it shouldn't, but it does. Silly game. Finally, our fifth and final hive right here. Might as well just take a little shortcut up to the top here. There we go. Here's the shack above the mine shaft. That's a good little indicator of where to skate up and do a spine transfer to get Spine the Mine. You remember that little mine shaft, right? And what the heck, we will just go ahead through the green shack to get back to the top here. And we have a couple of not overly difficult, but things can go wrong. Goals, how about that? Goals where things can go wrong. We have the Mountaintop Manual, which You might be able to guess what that is. We're going to do a manual from the top all the way to the bottom through the front gate. And then there is the downhill line. When you start to grind on the ledge, it will light up. And you have to grind up to a certain point for the next section to light up. And if you don't do it properly, it won't light up and you'll fail the line. And the first part is the hardest, in my opinion, because you're grinding this ledge here, and then you have to hopefully get down far enough that the side of the pond lights up. And then you have to do a side jump. And if you wait too long, your side jump is just totally going to miss the grind. And if you jump too early, it's not going to light up. And that is the hardest part of the line. I don't know why it does that. I don't think it's supposed to do that. But whatever. Let's go ahead and try for the manual first. You pick up a lot of speed going downhill, so going into focus mode early, it's not too much of a problem because you should still have plenty of time to make it to the bottom. And then you don't have to worry too much about your balance with things slowed down. Make it through the front gate. Perfect timing there. Now we can make it to the top again. And we'll try for this downhill line. Let's see if I can do it without any incident here. There we go. See? I jumped too late. But that's fine. Again, jumped too late, but we can hopefully correct that. There we go. Again, the things don't line up quite as nicely as I would prefer. But we did it. A second try with just a little bit of trickery involved there. Okay, not too bad. Now we have to do, excuse me, car, we have to do a spine combo. And I kind of look at this blue section of the ramp, because that kind of goes in the direction I want to go. Tony, if you could just stand up here for a second, thank you. We're going to spine down to the pathway, right where that car just drove by. Then we're going to spine up and into the garage. And then we need to angle ourselves just a little bit to the right as we spine out of the garage. And sometimes I have problems getting the gaps to actually register like they're supposed to. So I am going to use focus mode here, just to make sure, hopefully, there are no problems. So here we are, we're angled. Oh, never mind. I was not paying attention to the special meter. That's my fault. Okay, there's two, and this should be the third one. Alright. Little bit of mistake on my part there. Here's a message from Tony to himself, narcissist that he is. We are not ready to leave just yet. But yeah, when the focus mode runs out and you're not expecting it, that can really throw you off. So my fault. I was not keeping the meter full. Anyway, I said you wanted to turn a little bit, because if you try to go straight, you're not hitting this outside ramp. If you turn a little bit, like over here, then you will be. So that's good. That's great. That's how things be. And we just have one more thing to do with Mr. Tony, I think. Let me actually just double check. Yep, we got all that done, and there should be 5 gaps left, unless I forgot something. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. All right. We're going to do the first part of this spine combo again, but we are going to try and... Tony, thank you. We're going to try to land on this high bar up on the roof, or where the roof should be, for that garage. And the momentum that we're going to build up from the huge spine transferring will translate into some really good speed once we grind that rail. And we're going to jump off and land in a grind on top of that red shack. Now, I can undershoot, I can overshoot. I do not know how to be very consistent. My best advice I can give is no special, so your stats aren't boosted, and to go into switch mode so that they are brought down even a little bit more. That seems to be the way that I manage to do this more often than not. So yeah, we're gonna just hang out over here for 1 second. Oh, I'm trying to have this car not hit me in the face. Thank you. This can take me quite a few tries, so we are gonna drop a save state here. Okay, here we go. Spine transfer. Big spine transfer. Land in a grind up here and jump. And just barely kiss the edge of that shack there. So, whew, yeah, a lot of attempts, actually. I think that was like 5 or 6, where 4 of them I overshot, 1 I undershot, a couple of them I didn't even get the spine transfer to hit that top rail. Instead, I kept hitting the rail on the wall there for the wire. But yeah, with just a little bit of perseverance, a few attempts, not terrible. Now we're going to go back to the barn, where we're going to find a small boy just hanging out in a barn by himself in a very dilapidated, not well-maintained skate park surrounded by
sick runs and see if you've got the skills to pull them off.
By grown men. There's implications here. I don't know if they're probably not intentional, but it's creepy to me. Anyway, Ryan Sheckler. I think I said before, he was kind of like a child prodigy. He was a pro, I think, at 11 or 12, something like that. He got sponsors at a very young age. He participated in competitions at a very young age. Now he's 30, if you want to feel old.
Hey, Matt, come over here.
No, Tony. I do not want your candy. Anyway. Might as well just build that special up, and we are going to grind this log, jump and grind the zip wire, and then do an acid drop at the bottom of the slope for a drop from the wire. Down here we have a very interesting goal here, probably one of the most skate skill heavy goals in the entire game, but that's not saying much. We need to do a combo where we go into one of the shacks, get teleported to the top, keep that combo going until we make it all the way back to the bottom, and go through the other shack. So let me see if I can do this without too much difficulty. Kind of have to improvise at first there, because you're not exactly sure how you're gonna jump out of that shack. Go ahead and slow things down. Spam some grind mods there to keep things going. Here's his special trick, by the way, because Ryan Sheckler is, of course, known for being pursued by land sharks. And that... okay. Let's see if we can maybe... Alright, well. Huh. The game wanted to be a little bit funny with me, I guess. Alright, let's try this again. Trying to delay on the focus mode here, so it's not as long of a redo as it could be. This is the episode where I have to do everything twice. That's fine. There we go. Registered that time. Yeah, not overly difficult, but of course things can go wrong. Things always go wrong when you don't want them to. Now we have another goal that's gonna require us to start at the top and make our way to the bottom. Let's try our best here. Gonna start grinding this wire from where I did. There's like one segment before that one, but you can't actually grind on it. Again, like with the manual, you can kind of start your focus mode relatively early because you've got a lot of speed building up by going downhill. Then we just come around, and there we are. Huge electric wire. That's very nice. Now we're coming back to the top to attempt the last goal and last gap with Ryan Sheckler. We're going back to here where we did the weather balloon grab, and this time we're kind of aiming for that guy. And we're going to spine down to the bottom of the mountain. I'm going into focus mode because that helps me make sure I get a good, proper launch over the house. And there we are. Got the goal, got the gap. Everything is now done. We got 1,000 out of 1,000 points. Recheck the gap list. Make sure everything's good. Gucci. Maybe even a little bit of Louis Vuitton, huh? Alright. Final message here, Tony Hawk. Yep. We can go talk to Bam, but that seems to bug the game out, and then there's no voice audio. So instead we are going to go back to our previous message and just go to let's go now.
To celebrate our complete domination, I'm gonna blow this hellhole sky high.
And we have one final list of goals. We're going to play as Bam, and we're going to blow this place up for some reason. I don't know where the hell you get this kind of firepower from. I imagine there were some black market purchases that were made. And somebody should be getting a call from Homeland Security a lot sooner rather than later. Why we have to blow this place up, I don't know. It probably would just kind of fall apart on its own if you sneezed loud enough. But we have to prime a handful of explosives here. Here we have to just grind around in a circle 4 times. Okay, head on over this way. And this can be a little bit of a pain. What are these called? I think they're called glory showers. Okay, I thought it was something much dirtier. Some actual genuine warnings here about fireworks, which is surprising. No jokes. But we need to do 4 nada spins on the top of these cones here. And each time we do a nada spin, you never know where you're gonna jump off from. Try as I might to direct it, but there we go. You can see that they're lowering with each spin that I do, which might make it a little bit difficult sometimes, because maybe you'll jump to an area where they've dropped down and you can't do a spin on them. I don't know. I don't actually know the mechanics for that perfectly. I just know that trying to direct your nada spins, not really a thing. I was trying to grab this wire, but this game said no. There we are. So we need to get to the top of this big-ass firework, one way or the other, and then grind it down. Prime that. Here's a fun little thing. If you remember the game Cubert, we need to jump we need to touch the tops of each of these boxes while we're in a combo. The simplest way to do that is to do a trick and get off your board and use the combo run-out meter to run across. And we have to do this in 2 combos. 8 boxes, 2 combos. Okay. And try to have the camera work with you by staying behind your character, so you can just jump and hold forward and be straight on them. If you don't get it in 2 combos, they reset. And then this, you just have to brute force some jumping.
We gotta get out
There we
of here.
go.
So let's take the critters with us.
Now we have to get out of here before everything explodes. And every time we touch a dog or a cat, we get a little bit of time added to our timer. You can see it's very close.
All right, it's time for the grand finale. This place
You don't
is
actually
getting
need to get all the
What's that
dogs
rookie
and
still doing
stuff,
way up there?
but it does
Hey,
help.
loser, let's make this
That's for
interesting.
sure. You saw how tight that was, and I think I missed maybe 1 or 2 dogs.
You get 1,000 points. You know why? Because it'll never happen.
Alright, the big finale. Everything's on fire. We need to get a combo from here down to the Skatopia side. And I think this is one of the few instances where difficulty actually matters. Because I think you are started in different positions depending on your difficulty level. What I'm hoping I can do is spine transfer and land in a grind on the wire. If not, we will try again. Nope, we got it. Okay, perfect. That's all I really wanted here. Now we just ride this down, go into a manual, and aim for that Skatopia sign. I go around this side to avoid getting kicked into the air, and boom, we're done. We've done the game. We have done Tony Hawk.
It's beautiful. So beautiful. My life finally has a meaning. What? No! That was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that before. World Destruction Tour Champs. I love the sound of that.
Yes, focus back at the nuts. Now, where's my tape?
Tape? What tape?
Come on. I've managed us a live international broadcast. The whole world is about to see me. Us.
Hey, the old beaver banger. I'll bet you're looking for this.
Cheers.
We're live in 3, 2...
Anarchy, destruction, utter chaos. Images captured by the only man bold enough to bring them to the big, small screen. Me, Nigel Beaverhausen. I'm speaking, of course, of the now famous World Destruction Tour. For weeks I trekked the earth with the world's top skaters, becoming so close with them we practically shared the same breaths. So, without further ado, here is the compelling, gripping story of the World Destruction Tour. Brought to you by Nigel Beaverhausen.
Well, toilet paper. I need some toilet paper up here.
Oh, man. Thank you, world, for tuning in. And before we go, we'd just like to leave you with one little thing.
They pantsed him like the nerd he is. Alright. So there we go. All story mode goals complete. And for our troubles, we get a bunch of generic pedestrian models. Finally you get to play as Cut Chemist like you always wanted to. This is also how you unlock Shrek, but you have to do it on a lower difficulty. That's kind of annoying, that there are separate unlocks per difficulty, and they're not given to you. Like, I did this on Sick, but I don't get the rewards for normal and easy. That's kind of silly. But yeah, anyway. We have also unlocked the Pro Skater level. It's a bonus level. Actually kind of interesting to see. Check it out. We will be seeing that soon enough. We also unlocked the Call of Duty soldier, you know, the famous character, Call of Duty soldier. Nigel Beaverhausen, German Drunk 1, Mime, and Zombie 1. Lots of fun, awesome secret skaters this time around. Remember when we had frickin' Darth Maul, Spider-Man, Wolverine, all kinds of fun stuff. Now we get Zombie 1. Ah, well. Anyway, time for some footage rewards here. First thing is going to be like your basic reward for completing the story and seeing the quote-unquote World Destruction Tour video. Then I think there's a Bales video that we've unlocked. And then the credits. So yeah, let's go check it out. Alright, so here is that World Destruction Tour footage. Not really featuring a whole lot of world destruction. It's more or less just like some tour footage and some skateboarding clips, which, you know, is fine with me. It's the typical reward for these games is getting to see this cool skateboard footage. You know, I like seeing the skateboarders doing the skateboarding. Look at that! Look, I like that. I like that. Look at that. I like that too. It's awesome, you know? But some of the design choices for this game really stand out here because in past games you would get, you know, little featurettes for each skater, and in this one you just get like a 2-minute compilation of all the skaters in the game, of which there are only 10, and that's including Ryan Sheckler, who you only get to play as in Skatopia, Wee Man, who you only get to see in Berlin or play as in Kyoto in the PSP version, and Nadas Kaupas, who also shows up in Berlin, and you don't get to play as him. So 10 skaters. To put that in perspective, the number of pro skaters in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 was 10 skaters. And in the last game, Tony Hawk's Underground 1, you had 17. Now, you know, not all of them showed up in story mode, but they were there. And funnily enough, that also included first-time appearances by Paul Rodriguez and Arto Sari, who did not return for this game. So I don't know what was up with that. For the others, I imagine it was just a matter of contracts being up and no reason to bring them back because of the direction the game was going, not having that focus on pro skaters, really. But, yeah, just to sign people on for like one game and then them not showing up again was kind of strange. But, you know, that said, I do like that Wee Man and Ryan Sheckler do get a moment to shine here in that video at the end. And, of course, you get to see Bam throwing up. That's always good. Always good to see people throwing up. Bales are another common video reward throughout the games. And, I don't know, I could go either way on those. When people don't get seriously hurt, it's okay. You know, seeing the reality of skateboarding where people will try a trick over and over and mess it up a whole bunch of times, you know, that's the reality of skateboarding. It's not like perfect shots every time. People fall. People get a little banged up and bruised and hurt their no-nos and stuff like that, you know? It's fine. I could use a little more Bob Saget doing funny voices and some like little comic like bell ringing and bonk noises, you know? But it's not the big focus. It's just another little added bonus. And it works. So there we go. That is story mode completed on sick difficulty with all gaps done for the levels you play in story mode. And yeah, let's take a moment to actually reflect on story mode. I don't know how you feel about it, audience, but my opinion is it was a bit underwhelming. I played on stick difficulty, and not once did I ever feel like I was playing on the hardest difficulty of this game. Never once did I feel like there was something that was harder for me because of the difficulty I chose. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of the missions are really simplistic, and a number of them don't even require you to do much skateboarding. During the planning for this playthrough, I considered seeing how little skateboarding I could do to complete the game, but once I incorporated the gaps into everything, I decided not to follow through on that, because the gaps, require you to do the skateboarding, but not the goals so much. When you're being asked to throw tomatoes at people and tag over graffiti and find guest characters, things like that, they don't scale with difficulty. So you don't really feel much difference between which level of difficulty you choose. I think the only place you'd really notice it is when you go to do the arcade challenges, and the scores are higher. And yeah, I'm not saying that I want the game to be frustrating. We got that with parts of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and I did not like that. And in some of the later games, those also have some very frustrating moments, and I also don't like that either. I mean, you don't have to really go too far back to look at a good example of how to do scaling difficulty, doing missions that require some skateboarding skill. Tony Hawk's Underground 1 got it right, in my opinion. And then they just totally tried to reinvent the wheel with Thug 2. And I don't know why. But maybe you feel differently, or maybe you agree, maybe you have something else to add on to that. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. I don't regret playing through the story mode. I mean, most of the Tony Hawk games feel good to play. So even if they're not asking much of you, you can still skate around and have fun. And going for the gaps while also doing the missions here went a long way towards keeping me really interested, because those encouraged me to do skateboarding, encouraged me to, kind of challenge myself by planning all this stuff out and memorizing, and maybe some things I could have done better, I don't know, but it was a challenge for me. A bigger challenge than I thought it was gonna be, because Thug 1 was a challenge, but it also flowed a lot better for me. The more open design of this game, and just how some of the things were planned out with those missions and some of the gaps, it was really hard for me to get all that sorted out. But we did it, and now what we have to look forward to is Classic Mode, which is definitely all about skateboarding skill, or at least a lot more so compared to Story Mode. And then there's going to be some levels that we're going to see that were exclusive to Classic Mode that I will explore and get all the gaps in. And we also unlock that bonus level, the Pro Skater level, which is probably what's going to come up next. And we'll explore that and get all the gaps there before we switch on over to Classic Mode. But yeah, tell me what your thoughts are on this story mode so far, and compare it to Thug 1, or compare it to the mission structure of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, or compare it to the first 3 games. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, 10 years of Neversoft. Pour one out for him, and I will see you guys next time. Alright? Alright. Love ya. Bye-bye.